In the unfolding drama that is South African politics, tensions between the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance have once again boiled over, this time over the appointment of former Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas as South Africa's new ambassador to the United States. A move that was initially seen as a diplomatic step forward has now sparked a full-blown political clash between the country's ruling party and its most vocal opposition. As the ANC flung accusations, the DA struck back with explosive force, turning what should have been a routine foreign posting into a fierce national debate about loyalty, diplomacy, and the strange bedfellows of politics. At the center of the storm is Mcebisi Jonas, a man once hailed as a whistleblower hero when he boldly exposed the notorious Gupta state capture scandal. But despite that legacy, or perhaps because of it, his appointment to Washington has drawn criticism from the ANC itself, particularly its more hardline factions, who question whether Jonas is truly aligned with the ruling party's current foreign policy stance, particularly on matters involving the United States and global power dynamics. The ANC accuses the DA of using Jonas as a pawn, claiming the appointment is an attempt to cozy up to Western powers at a time when South Africa is pivoting towards a more BRICS-aligned, anti-Western foreign policy. But the DA wasn't having any of it. In a fiery statement released to the press, the DA accused the ANC of hypocrisy and paranoia, saying that the ruling party's criticisms were not only baseless but laughable. According to the DA, Jonas is being scapegoated simply because he represents the kind of integrity and global credibility the ANC has long since abandoned. The opposition party argued that instead of celebrating a statesman who stood up to corruption and maintained South Africa's dignity during one of its darkest chapters, the ANC is trying to smear him because he doesn't fit into their current narrative of anti-Western suspicion and nationalist grandstanding. The DA further noted that Jonas is not a DA member, nor is he being used as a DA tool. He is a South African first, with a history of public service that includes standing up to the Guptas when others bowed down. His appointment, they said, should be seen as a symbol of South Africa's ability to rise above factionalism and corruption and send someone of stature to represent the country in one of the world's most powerful capitals. The ANC, however, has not backed down. Some party insiders have described the appointment as deeply concerning, alleging that Jonas, despite his past affiliation with the ANC, has become too close to business elites and Western interests. They argue that South Africa's diplomatic missions should reflect the country's current ideological stance, one that increasingly distances itself from the US and aligns more with Russia, China, and the rest of the BRICS bloc. The mere idea that someone like Jonas, who is perceived by some as too reformist or neoliberal, could be trusted to toe the ANC line in Washington has raised alarm bells among the party's left wing. But many analysts say this is more about internal ANC politics than any real diplomatic concern. The appointment of Jonas, they argue, was approved by the president himself, which makes the public outcry from ANC officials seem more like a coordinated attempt to assert factional dominance within the party than a genuine policy objection. The fact that Jonas has never been associated with any scandal, and in fact helped expose one of the biggest, makes the criticism ring hollow in the eyes of the public. What makes this clash even more fascinating is the broader context in which it unfolds. South Africa's relationship with the United States has been under immense strain in recent years, with disagreements over Ukraine, trade policy, and human rights creating a visible rift. The ANC's increasingly loud anti-Western rhetoric, amplified through BRICS summits and cozy relations with Russia and China, has not sat well with Washington. Appointing someone like Jonas could have been a move to smooth things over, to reassure the US that South Africa still values a balanced, diplomatic approach to foreign relations. But instead of unity, South Africans are witnessing another episode of political cannibalism, where even potentially unifying figures like Jonas are dragged into factional battles. The DA has leveraged the moment to drive home its core message, that the ANC is no longer capable of putting country before party, and that even diplomatic appointments are now being twisted into internal power plays. The irony is hard to miss. The ANC criticizes Jonas for supposedly being too close to the West, yet this is the same man who stood before a commission of inquiry and helped bring down the very empire that was corrupting the country from within. He didn't run. He didn't hide. And now, because he dares to represent the country on a world stage with clean hands and an untainted conscience, he's under attack from the very party that once celebrated him. The DA is betting that the public sees through the spectacle. Their messaging is clear: the ANC is eating its own, and in doing so, it is weakening South Africa's global credibility. In a world where diplomacy requires strength, clarity, and trustworthiness, the country can't afford to send mixed signals. For the DA, Jonas embodies the kind of moral leadership South Africa desperately needs in its foreign missions. For the ANC critics, he's a symbol of a past they are trying to erase or rewrite. As South Africa watches this spectacle unfold, many are left asking, when did serving your country with integrity become a liability? When did doing the right thing become something to be punished, instead of celebrated? Only time will tell if Jonas will rise above the noise and prove his doubters wrong in Washington. But one thing is certain: his journey from whistleblower to ambassador is no longer just a personal one. It's a mirror reflecting the deep fractures in South African politics, the war between the principled and the powerful, and the painful truth that in today's political battlefield, even the best among us are not safe from the flames. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the drama shaking up South Africa and beyond.